Welcome. I'm Dee Perry, and I'm welcoming you to CIFF Speaks, the official podcast of the Cleveland International Film Festival. I'm here with my producer, Aaron Spears. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, how are you doing this morning?
I am great, and especially because our guest today is a man I know for many years, and he's been keeping Cleveland's film festival rolling for more than a dozen as its associate director. Welcome to CIFF Speaks, Patrick Shepard.
Hello there.
So, Patrick, you actually started with the festival 20 years ago as a seasonal employee. What are some of the ways you've seen it evolve over the past 2 decades?
Oh my gosh. Well, the growth is certainly a big part of it. When I started, we were just in the smaller hallway of Tower City Cinemas. There were 4 screenings running simultaneously. And actually, the majority of Tower City Cinemas they were still running commercial films. And then over time, we added morning screenings, we added midnight screenings, and we slowly took over the entire Tower City Cinemas, all 10 theaters, which we run more or less around the clock at this point. So we're so fortunate that there's been demand for this. Clearly the community wanted it, and that's why our attendance has tripled since when I started. Back then, we were in the mid-30s, and we've topped 100,000 for the last 4 years.
Amazing. And it seems like as the festival has expanded its horizons, so has the staff. You've all grown with it.
Yes. Back in the day, there were just 3 of us. It was Marcy, Bill, and myself. Bill and I actually started the same year, that 98-99 cycle. He was an intern at Cleveland State University, and Marcy had just returned to the organization in the role of managing director. In 2001, she was appointed executive director. That's when she hired me. And by then, Bill was a full-time programmer. And it grew over time. We now have 8 full-time staffers. We have nearly 1,000 volunteers in any given year. Of course, we've got over 300 seasonal contractors. Those are the folks that are in the theater operations team, the business operations team, the guest relations team. It's a big maze of everybody doing everything they can to welcome these filmmakers and these films to Cleveland every year.
And on the note of expansion, the festival this year is expanding its footprint in the region. And I want to have you roll out the whys and wheres of that.
Well, sure. The first thing I want to say is that everything that has happened at Tower City in recent years will continue to happen. We're not taking away from all the screenings that will take place over the course of the 11 days that follow our opening night at Playhouse Square on March 27th. But we are expanding to 2 arts districts, and we're very excited about it. We're going to start with CIFF West in the Gordon Square Arts District. For the first time, we'll have simultaneous screenings at the Capitol Theater and the Near West Theater. And previously, we had been at the Capitol. We've been at the Capitol every year since it reopened, but typically that was 2 screenings on a given evening, or last year we actually did 4 screenings on 2 nights. So this is a much bigger move to embrace the vibrancy of that district and bring the festival to the doorsteps of so many more people. So that's CIFF West. That'll be March 28th, 29th, and 30th. And then the following Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll have CIFF East, and that's in University Circle. So we'll be at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. They have a big auditorium right off their Wade Oval entrance. And then we'll also be at the Cleveland Museum of Art, which actually has 2 venues where we'll be screening films. The larger one is the big Gartner Auditorium on the main level, also off the Wade Oval entrance. And then there's a lecture hall downstairs. It's a smaller theater. So we'll be at all 3 venues at CIFF East.
Wow, that's exciting, including all the stuff still going on at Tower City. I want to also talk about some of the programming. Over the years, CIFF has created numerous awards in honor of people who've made an impact on Northeast Ohio. And this year, there is a new one, Dreamcatcher. Now, before we talk about the award itself, give us a sense of the man who inspired it, David K. Ream.
Yes, Dave was on the board when I arrived in that 98-99 cycle, and he was an inspiration to many of us. He was very passionate about the festival. He was one of those people that would literally try to see a film in every round. So on a year where he was able to get away from work, he would see probably more than 50 and sometimes more than 60 films over the course of the 12 days. So Dave was very passionate, and we were so sad when we lost him in December of 2017. But he was kind enough to leave a bit of a legacy gift for us, which has enabled us to create Dreamcatcher. And that's capital D, capital R in Dream. So Dreamcatcher. And the intention of this award is to shine the spotlight on an LGBTQ filmmaker in the country. And Dave was gay, and he was passionate about LGBTQ issues. So the intersection of that and the film festival is what's led us to create this. And we're delighted that Jamie Babbitt is the first recipient of this award. She doesn't have a film in this festival, but she's had many films over the years at various CIFFs. And we're delighted that she'll be coming. We will pay tribute to her with Dave's support.
And a Cleveland native as well.
Correct. Yeah, Shaker Heights.
Outstanding. I'm wondering about new things for you, Patrick, because I was following your Facebook journey to Sundance. Was that the first time you had gone as staff?
Yeah, in all 21 years, this was the first time that I have gone to Sundance. And the main reason for that was that Mallory Martin, our director of programming and projection, had a baby, Oliver, and we're thrilled about that. But she had the baby while Bill and I were in Sundance. So obviously she wasn't able to make the trip. So I filled in for her. I did the best that I could. Even a couple of the films that I screened are in the festival. There's a documentary about Toni Morrison. There's a documentary about Mike Wallace. And also American Factory, a film that's basically a sequel to The Last Truck, Closing of a GM Plant, which we screened at the 2010 festival. This is another documentary by the acclaimed filmmakers from Dayton, Stephen Bognar and Julia Reichert.
So just a little bit of a sense of your film festival experience at Sundance. How does it compare with CIFF?
Well, obviously Sundance is an industry festival, but the interesting thing was we were in our own little programmer's bubble. So we were not near the red carpets. We were not near the paparazzi, which actually was fine by me. It's just people who are programmers from festivals around the world just doing their jobs and going to see as many films as they possibly can. I mean, yes, I did walk up the hill and I saw all the glamour and excitement briefly, but mostly we were hunkered down in what I would call the programmer's bubble. And it was a 4 theater Cineplex, literally right across the street from where Bill and I stayed.
Oh, interesting. Ours sounds bigger. Huh? This year there is, on the note of new things, a new theme which happens every year. Mm-hmm. But it caught my attention that for the 40th anniversary you did a theme called Welcome Home. How is this year's theme different? Just the plain welcome.
Oh, well, I mean, this is actually a bit of an extension from something that we did with Film Slam last year, where we welcomed all these different students going to different foreign language shorts programs in various languages. We created shirts, and you saw welcome in all the different languages, and we love that so much that that the folks that work on our campaign, Fusion Filmworks and Type 27, embrace that to roll out a great campaign to welcome everybody to the festival, because that's what we're all about. We want people from every walk of life, any background, to engage filmmakers and films at our festival. And that's the great thing about a festival, is there's a little bit in the festival for everyone.
Yeah. And Aaron, I think we're going to be doing a little bit on the welcome theme too.
We will be, yes. Stay tuned for that. As the theme of welcoming, if someone is just coming to the festival for their very first time this year, could you kind of talk us through maybe some recommendations, like that whole process? Because it could seem pretty intimidating when you see the attendance numbers reported on year by year. What would be kind of like step by step for a first timer to come and check out the festival?
Oh gosh, it is sensory overload when you have more than 200 feature films and more than 200 short films and over 500 screenings that take place over 12 days. I think it is intimidating for somebody who's brand new to it. So on our digital platform and also in our 208-page festival program guide, we have listed sidebars. Sidebars help you sort out different types of films in the festival. So, for example, if you're big into art, you would check out our film is art sidebar. If you're interested for something from our African diaspora sidebar, you would check that list of films. There's also awards and competitions. So if you're a big person about music, I would recommend that you check out the music movies competition. So that's the whole level of trying to find what you want to see. And then there's the whole other level of coming to the festival and how do you get there. We always strongly encourage the use of RTA or rideshare just because there is limited parking, not only at the Tower City Center footprint, but also at CIFF West and CIFF East. So fortunately, RTA serves all of these areas, and we encourage people to ride RTA trains and buses to get there. And Lyft is a much bigger partner with us this year. We're something new this year. Our PUDOs. PUDOs stands for pick up, drop off. And we will have a PUDO at Tower City. It's actually the same one that Lyft uses for the cabs. It's in the Tower City Center parking lot, right by the escalators that take you to the food court. And then we'll also have a Lyft PUDO at CIFF West on West 67th Street, north of Detroit, right by Near West Theater. It's kind of right between where the Capitol is and Near West. We don't feel a need to do one on the east side just because there's big, the Art Museum and the Natural History Museum have big pull-up welcome entrances, so we're not going to do one on the east side.
That's a lot to process, a lot to think about. Have I missed anything, Aaron?
No, that seems like a pretty good
place to
preview. Yeah.
All right, we'll drop it off here. Patrick Shepard, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And once again, we've been talking about CIFF43. The Cleveland International Film Fest for 2019 runs March 27th through April 7th at Tower City Cinemas in downtown Cleveland, as well as in the Gordon Square Arts District and University Circle. More than 600 screenings will take place during the 12 days of the festival, with over 300 guest filmmakers from around the world who will be visiting our city for the festival. For more information, please visit clevelandfilm.org. I'm Dee Perry.
And I'm Aaron Spears.
And thanks for listening to CIFF Speaks.